Hey guys, how's it going? So this is the rest of the movies I saw during the months of July, August, and September, and there were a few good ones, a few weird ones, and a few So let's get started and I'll tell you about the movies I crossed off my bucket list for the past few months. The movie I was very excited to see was Wes Anderson's The Royal Tenenbaums. I've heard great things about this movie. People seem to really love it. It's one of their favorites, what I've heard from people who are big Wes Anderson fans. To keep it short, I did enjoy the movie. It didn't live up to my expectations, and I don't know if my expectations were a little bit too high or if the movie just didn't really take advantage of the great story that it had at hand. In case you don't know anything about it, the movie is about this man called Royal Tenenbaum, his wife, and his three prodigy children who are fantastic at very different things. One of them is an amazing tennis player, the girl is a great playwright, and the other boy is an amazing entrepreneur and businessman. After the parents break up when they're little and the father kind of declines giving the mother an official divorce, the family slowly starts to break down. They lose contact of each other. Now when the father tells the family that he has cancer and wants to be closer to them, they all come back to the house, and it's sort of him trying to mend the ties with his children, with his ex-wife, not so ex-wife, and him trying to become a better person. As you can imagine, it has the very sort of dry, weird humor that Wes Anderson is really great at. I particularly love all the scenes between Margot and Richie. I particularly related to Ben Stiller's character, which is something I never in my life thought I would ever say. The Ben Stiller character's Chas Tenenbaum has recently lost his wife in an airplane crash, and he's just kind of become very paranoid and very scared of something happening to his kids. And I can totally relate to that with the fears of anxiety, with the fears of always being prepared because you don't want another tragedy to strike. What is Owen Wilson doing in this movie? I have no fucking idea. Owen Wilson plays the sort of neighbor who's kind of soaked up part of their fame and has written kind of a book about them, and he's not really that great. It's just, I hate him, and I've already hated Owen Wilson. I didn't think I could hate him more. Kind of do. It's lovely, but I thought it would be so much more interesting. I thought there would be so much more to say, and I'm a little bit tired of the trope of Wes Anderson where his characters are kind of, I don't want to say flat because there's always dimensions to the character, but at the same time I feel like they're not as developed as they could be, and I feel like it's a person playing with dolls in a house and kind of making up a story. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't know, it's a beautiful set, it's a beautiful world, but something about it just never blossoms completely. If you're a big Wes Anderson fan, I'm very sorry. I can be very wrong. So, to keep it short, which I have not so far, I enjoyed the movie, I liked it, I would watch it again, however not my favorite Wes Anderson movie so far. The next movie I saw was Good Morning Vietnam. Speaking in technical terms, there's nothing wrong with the movie. It's a solid story, it's a great setting, it's great comedy, but something about it just didn't really click for me, and I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know if it's because it's the usual situation where you see a Robin Williams character where he comes into a very dull and boring or tragic world, he tries to make everything funny, there's always some stick-up-the-ass guy who doesn't like what he's doing, and in the end, I don't know, something happens where Robin Williams comes out winning, or the bad guy has an issue and has to go away. I mean, it's what? It's Patch Adams, it's Dead Poet Society. I mean, I think you've seen it a million times before, only this time it's in Vietnam and he's like a radio star. It's enjoyable, it's a good movie, it's nice to see sort of how comedy can lift everybody's spirit, how it's so important, especially in a time like this in the Vietnam War. It's a great way to show this time in history. However, the movie in itself, I felt it was kind of forgettable. Not Robin Williams' best jokes or best performance. I don't know, it was just sort of there. I enjoyed it, not a big deal. I could totally move on and not think about it ever again. The next movie I saw was surprisingly great, and that is Cloverfield. It's one of the best monster movies I've ever seen, and I think that has ever been made. The budget was so small. I love the fact that is in the found footage genre. I love the beginning 20 minutes of it. It's normally the 20 minutes that suck in a horror movie because you don't care about whatever dilemma these stupid characters are going through, but you actually do care. It makes a lot of great sense with how the movie continues on. I think they do great at pacing the movie. There's very little cuts here and there because they actually turn off the camera or something. So the fact that you're going through with these kids through New York, watching these monsters and fighting these monsters off and trying to find somebody, it feels very well paced. It feels very interesting. It's a little scary, it's a little dark, it's funny here and there because TJ Miller is the guy holding the camera, so of course you're gonna laugh here and there. I absolutely loved it. I was very surprised by it. I can't believe, like I said, that I hadn't watched it, and I'm very excited even more that I saw 10 Cloverfield Lane. I love what they're doing with that. I love the different formats and perspectives that they're showing this attack by the aliens. I'm in love with it. Very happy I watched it. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. Although I think I'm the only person who hadn't watched it up until now. Now the last movie I saw, it's a major classic and still taking us to Weird Town all over again, and that is 2001 Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. I don't know if I said it before, but I'm still on the fence about Kubrick. It took me a very long time to finish Clockwork Orange. Ended up loving it. But there's something about Kubrick that feels a little bit self-indulgent and weird for the sake of being weird, and I'm not a fan of that. Strangely enough, Space Odyssey was the movie that totally converted me to being a Kubrick fan. In case you don't know, the movie is about many weird things. It's hard to explain. But if you want a very concrete answer, it's about a mission in space, and the computer in this spaceship is like the most intelligent computer that has ever been made, and she's supposed to follow human orders, and things kind of get weird, and the computer kind of rebels and starts to possibly kill everybody in the spaceship. That is one segment of the entire movie. There's like two other segments that have zero dialogue and build up to the movie and resolve the movie. Easily the weirdest movie I've seen in the past 3 months. It's a pity that I kind of have to have it concise for this video because there's so much to talk about Space Odyssey. From the amazing angles that Kubrick decided to shoot in, from the lack of score and this sort of like unnerving sound and theme. It's not really a score because it's not musical, but there's a theme to this object in space that's supposed to be a life form, but it's really like an obelisk or something. It's very weird, and it's just the most unnerving sounds of like a choir and a constant key and a note. It's really weird. It makes you feel so strange and uncomfortable. And when you don't have that, you have very classical music when there's sort of the human segment of the story. Whenever the humans are around or the spaceship, when everything is structured and controlled, you get classical music. There's so many amazing and brilliant choices about this movie. The cinematography, the decision of using wide-angle cameras, the way he represents technology and computers versus humans, I thought it was amazing. I loved how HAL 9000 just blew it out of the water. I kind of wish that whole section of that story was a little bit longer because I found it so interesting. There's a scene with Hal, and Hal is constantly speaking and trying to tell Dave something. It's chilling, it's beautiful, it shows you exactly what you know from all these sci-fi movies, and it's just great to kind of go back to the base and see where it kind of all started, and to see how we feel about technology and how technology can take over and how technology might have feelings, etc. I might make a video separately about this movie because there's so much to say. Absolutely loved it. I take everything back that I ever said about Kubrick. He is a genius. So, guys, that's the end of the movies I saw between July and September. I'm going to catch up, and now I'm going to pick the movies that we're going to see next month. Yay! Always the same problem. This was a bad idea. Should have been a bowl. This is A Few Good Men. Ooh, I think I might regret this. Roman Holiday, Audrey Hepburn. Alright. Marathon Man. Alright, we're going with the very classic dramatic movies. Bicentennial Man? I didn't even remember I had this here. It's so weird. Alright, I guess that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've seen any of these movies, please let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of them. But guys, that would be everything for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like. It's always very appreciated. Subscribe if you're new, and share this video with your movie fan friends. I hope you have a great week. I hope you get to watch a lot of great movies, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!